Welcome everyone to this week's episode of 3x3 Hustle Hype. My name is Greg Hire, 3x3 Australian team squad member, 2019 World Cup participant and 2019 Asian Cup gold medalist. I'll be your host each and every week for the foreseeable future. Hopefully I don't get kicked off, but I'll have the absolute pleasure of introducing this week's guest, one of FIBA 3x3's finest and absolute superstar. Had an incredible year in 2019. Number 9 ranked player in the world, and number 1 in USA, and that is Dominique Domo Jones. Mate, thanks for joining me today. Absolute pleasure. I'm honoured to speak to an absolute superstar. First thing, how's everything going?
Everything is going well as possible. Missing a season right now, so hopefully we get things back in tune real soon, but I appreciate y'all having me on.
Now, of course, and I think we have to talk about the unfortunate circumstances that were presented, and if I can touch on COVID-19 and lockdown. Whereabouts are you? Are you back in New York?
Yes, I'm back in New York, yes.
I mean, we talk about that's one of the worst hit cities in the world. I mean, how are you dealing with it in that regard?
Just trying to stay as busy as possible, making sure me and my family is safe, and the others around me, giving back to the community a little bit, trying to help less fortunate and things of that nature. So just trying to stay as busy as possible, trying to be a good community leader, and just help out as much as I can, and just praying that we can get out these tough times that we're in. It's unprecedented times right now, so just making sure that we can get out and strive and be better when we get out of this is, our main focus.
Are you staying fit? I mean, and even trying to, I'm not sure if you guys are, obviously we're sort of easing restrictions in terms of isolation, but how are you sort of staying on top of your game in this current time?
Well, luckily, I work inside a juvenile justice facility, and we don't have any kids right now, which is a good thing. So that means no kids are locked up at this moment in our facility. So, I can work out in the facility. We have a rec room and basketball court and things of that nature. And I just actually started running outside again, because it's been getting pretty nice. So, just staying masked and gloved up as much as possible, and, just running outside, trying to stay conditioned for the season, and, just staying fine-tuned as much as possible. So I use a gym in my facility. So, I'm doing pretty well.
Sure. Always trying to find the positive, negative, and even I've got 2 young kids of my own, and so I've been able to have been fortunate enough to spend more time than I've ever done. And congratulations on your arrival and your newborn son Grayson. How's that been to be able to enjoy that time, and obviously the hectic travel schedule of 3x3, you'd be in the midst of it and doing that. I mean, how's that all been? Spend that extra time with him?
It's amazing. He's a great kid. Like any parent says, he's a great kid. He's so energetic, and he lights my life up. People say I normally don't smile enough, but he makes me smile all the time. And just watching him grow and just seeing him, like he just start crawling and standing up. So it's awesome. And if the season was going on, I wouldn't be able to see that. So I'm just happy to be able to catch these moments while I can with him, and just spend some quality time and teach him new things, and and not get enough sleep, because he don't like to sleep.
For sure. Before we get into 3x3 and your incredible ride this last few seasons, I want to for those listeners that may not know, I want to ask you, how did it all start, your collegiate career? Did it all start in New York? And I obviously went to Fort Hayes, but can you just touch on that a little bit? What's your basketball journey been like?
Well, first, it was high school. I played like AAU basketball and things of that nature, but I never played school basketball. So my first time was in my high school, was playing real seriously school basketball. In the 9th grade, I had a chance to play varsity basketball at Wiley High School. Had a real good career there. We did pretty well, throughout the city. In the public school athletic league, we did pretty well. So that was good. Then I had a chance to play for Fashion Institute of Technology, which is a junior college right here in New York. Because I had a lot of D1 offers, and, that was a time of like SAT scores, and, I had like a lot of the schools that were looking at me were like real like Ivy League schools, and, schools that, involve you being great on your academic side and stuff of that nature. So, I took the time. I felt I was better than, or was a little bit better than the looks I was getting. So I ended up going to prep school after that. And after I went to prep, ended up going to JUCO, which is Fashion Institute of Technology, and just, being one of the top players in our conference and, and throughout the country. So I was missing a science class. I had a couple D1 looks that was interested in me, and ended up I'm missing a science class in my last semester, and me being such a little guard, a lot of college coaches didn't want to take the risk and waiting for them summer classes to be over. So I was always in tune with the academic side, but just me missing that one class kind of messed me up as far as my D1 eligibility. So I ended up going to Fort Hays State University. My coach there, he instilled in me, like, he had a great selling point. And, you can go to like the low D1s and, you could have a chance, not to win. You know what I mean? You can come to this D2 program and honestly make a difference and, have a chance to, make a name for yourself and you play against Kansas University, K-State University, when and Kansas was #1 in the country when we played there. So, it was pretty dope when they had Sharon Collins, Cole Aldridge, and the Morris twins, and Xavier Henry. They had a couple lottery picks that was there. So, I ended up picking Fort Hays State, which was one of the best opportunities I had in my life. The fans there were great. The people there, the coach and staff there was great. They pushed me, and I also pushed them. Just dealing with a kid from New York, which was kind of new for them, an inner city kid from New York, and me just being strong-willed and me having my perception of things that I needed and wanted to do. And like, when coaches gave me an opportunity, and I flourished in it. Was All-American there at Fort Hays State University. And then after that, ended up playing for the Netherlands, went to play in the Netherlands in a tournament out there. And after the Netherlands, I ended up going to Germany and playing in Germany. So, and then after Germany, ended up breaking my foot actually. I was playing in a street ball tournament out here, ended up getting elbowed and like messing up my whole grill and stuff like that. So
wow.
yeah, so in the midst of that, I ended up breaking my foot. So I was kind of out for the season, the next season, because it was until December. So I just took time rehabbing, and that basically was the process as far as my basketball career went. And after I got better, a lot of the coaches, they also want to know, like, what were you doing? So while I was hurt, and I really wasn't doing much because I was hurt. I was in a cast and things of that nature. And again, it came from me being a little guard again, and and they want to know. And I didn't have the right agents to put me in positions to do well. So I had to end up having a chance to play with the Harlem Globetrotters, and I did that, and I enjoyed that. Traveled the world with those guys, and they presented an opportunity to me that was real great. And I just wanted like a more competitive aspect as far as basketball. So just luckily, like before me going on to the next season, I had a chance to participate in the 3x3 event, which our team manager actually threw. It was something really, really new, with the Masters and everything. And so when we jumped into that, we actually won her event and got a chance to go to Mexico. And then from there, playing in Mexico, it really put us on every year. We've been in Mexico City ever since. And after that, we just threw on a different city, piece by piece, year by year. You know what I mean? So year by year, we just gained a new city and just learned. So that's how we kind of built the name and things of that nature.
So, and you obviously talked about that. One, the street ball element. I mean, you played in that, and assuming you've taken parts of that, you've been playing street ball your whole life, especially being in New York and that proud history. That street ball culture really resides in New York, right? But sure. I mean, what were your first sort of impressions of 3x3? Back then.
It was really new. So, like I loved it, you know what I mean? We came in, and when our first events was like a Masters, and we ended up actually losing to a buzzer beater to a really great American team. That's when it was like one or two more American teams in Denver, and the kid called Vanilla, It was something like I
No,
forgot
really? Okay, yeah, okay.
it was Derek Griffin, and he was like a great shooter. And Paris Cowles, he plays on the Minnesota team. We ended up playing against those guys, and we actually beat them in a regular season, and then they came and they beat us in a chip off a crazy buzzer beat. And after that, I just knew it was just something that I wanted to keep pursuing, and it just got bigger every year. And like I said, we add on a different city, so it was real special to just be a part of it. And everybody in the States, like as they see in highlights and things of that nature, I was just learning as well as I was going along and learning the different rules and things of that nature, and it really just stuck. So I really loved it. I actually had a lot of opportunities to go play 5-on-5 after, because of this 3x3 competitions. And, I kind of turned that down because this is something that I wanted to really engage and focus on.
What do you think you've been so successful? I mean, is it from the street ball sort of nature that you've played? I mean, obviously you've spoken about your successful collegiate career, but I mean, you're an absolute superstar at 3x3 right now. What do you think has been able to help?
Just a mindset, like a lot of hard work. I work hard, what I mean? That's something that I look forward to. That's something that I instill in myself, is to give it all. And, just different circumstances as far as, like, as I explained, like with schools and stuff like that, me just being a little guard, and, people sort of not wanting to take the chance because I'm not a 6'5" guard, and, that's more appealing to the eye. So just crafting my skill and just putting in the time is something that I always, just instilled in myself, and just keep getting better and present myself for new opportunities.
Let's talk about that then. Mindset. You led the world tour in game winners last year. I mean, what's your mindset there? I'm imagining you want the ball in your hands as that comes down. I mean, what's your mindset like?
Yes, sir. And I hate losing. I really, really hate it. That's something I do not like. So, I definitely want to put my position in teams to, be successful. And, I feel I'm the leader on the team. So, those guys depend on me just as well as I depend on them. So, I just try to put my best foot forward every time.
Sure. And on the other side of that, I mean, do you look at it and there's that mentality, you're smaller guard, 3x3, you know that you can't be hitting mismatches all the time. There's a chance people are going to try and attack you defensively, which I think is wrong because you hold your own, especially, strength wise. What's that mentality when they're trying to attack me defensively?
A lot of people, they see my stature, and, I guess, people see videos of new people. 3x3 is a competitive sport. So, a lot of people, talk a lot. So, they think, it might be a little easy, but, I have fun proving those guys wrong. Like I said, I'm a very competitive person, and I hate being on the losing side of things. So I'm going to do whatever it takes in order to win that game. So, people find out, sooner than later, that it's not as easy as they think it will be.
For sure. Now let's go take it back last year. Obviously a massive year with New York Harlem last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you guys won the most World Tour events as a team, and just, I guess, dominated in a way, and a completely different year. Obviously adding more and more tournaments. I mean, talk to me about that. Obviously a massive year for New York Harlem, but as well as on your own self being the MVP of the World Tour. I mean, how was all that?
It was great, just being selected by my peers and by the fans to be MVP. I never expected it. It was a great opportunity for me, and it showed that a lot of hard work came to fruition. My guys, we put in a lot of time, like most of our previous years. Like I said, we only did 1 or 2 events and things of that nature. And it wasn't as big here in the US. So we don't have a lot of sponsors and things of that sort. So just getting to these different places, and just with the allocations and how we did the previous year, it catapulted us to go to a lot of these places. So we took the game way more serious. You know what I mean? We always did well in the events that we went to, but as far as the practicing and the individuals and critiquing our craft, and watching game film, learning different things from our opponents, and putting my teammates in spots is something that I really wanted to perfect. You know what I mean? So that's something that helped us out a lot. You know what I mean? As far as we took everything a lot more seriously since we were being seen more on the world tour stage.
You feel like that's been the biggest difference is just having more and more tournaments? So, I mean, obviously you've been now more and more experienced in terms of that, because that's been a huge difference, say, compared to 2018 to 19, I'd imagine. Yeah, now.
Yeah, I think it's more tournaments, but like I said, it was just a mindset. You know, what I mean, we came in second place in a lot of different things, and you know that wasn't something that we enjoyed. You know, what I mean, we do so well and beat a lot of different people, and the teams that we beat, they were winning these events. So those situations kind of put us in, you know, we wanted to showcase our talent, you know what I mean? And we've seen so many different teams from the number one team to the number two team, and we were just always just right there, as far as like winning and stuff like that. So we know we had to tweak some things in our game and how we do things and how we move as a unit. So that's what made us more successful.
Talking about areas, and you've been already travelled Netherlands and Germany. I mean, is Mexico City one of your favourite spots? Because that's where it sort of all started. But what's been your favourite spot travelling thus far, or world tour event?
To be honest, one of my favorites was Novi Sad last year. Um, it's like a real basketball culture out there. That's where you feel like 3x3 really started, and the competition out there was great. You know what I mean? A lot of those guys, the fans loved them. You know what I mean? So us to see it, and we loved them, and we beat Limon in the semifinals and lost to Novi Sad in the championship. But just those fans, they passion for the game. We had some crazy games up there, and they loved you. And then when you played a serving team, they hated you. So, it kind of took us back to like being in New York. You know what I mean? 1 minute they love you, the next minute they hate you. You know what I mean? So it was our ideal situation and things of that nature. So it was pretty dope. I love Novi Sad. Novi Sad was real nice. Romania was good. Bucharest was nice. We had a great time out there. Riga was also a good tournament for us. We pretty much enjoy every different place that we've been to, but I want to pinpoint those places. You know what I mean? Like Novi Sad was a great tournament, and we enjoyed the atmosphere out there and then their basketball culture, things of that nature.
It might be then an easy question. Is that who you sort of love playing against? Novi Sad, Desan, and Nastrovic, and yeah, I mean, obviously,
for sure. If you want to be the best, you gotta beat the best. And like I said, we have I try to instill in my guys just that competitive nature. You know what I mean? Like we want to see anybody, and we ain't ducking no wreck. You know what I mean? So if we got to see the number one, the number 99, the 300 team, we're gonna try to come out, perform, and put our best foot forward every single time.
Now let's talk about Princeton. There's obviously a rivalry, and we've seen that. I mean, the success of USA basketball was huge last year. I mean, how's that been? And then we'll obviously talk about the USA national team in that regard. But how's that little healthy rivalry between two teams?
I think it's really well. Especially for being around the world. You know what I mean? Like these are guys we can honestly play, take a 10-minute drive and play against most of these guys, with Zaire and Craig being from New York. And, we see these guys at just regular tournaments and things of that nature out here. So, just seeing them doing so well and, them doing a great job and playing hard and, their different schemes and, how they progress throughout everything. And, those are all great guys. And we've grown real close over the years. So just, seeing and competing against those guys is always great. And we know that, we're putting on for something bigger than ourselves as well. You know what I mean? Just being two of the only American teams, really, really on the circuit. So, we know we putting ourselves in position to compete for our country. So, it's always great playing against those guys and, just picking their brains. And they're great competitors just like we are. So, we enjoy it and we take on every task when we go against one another.
Sure. I mean, and obviously USA basketball winning World Cup last year, and congratulations on your, Pan Am Games, gold medal, and sort of celebrations that obviously meant a lot to you as well. I mean, how was, representing countries the pinnacle, I think, of anything. Talk to me about that selection of winning Pan Am Games. Did you watch the World Cup? I mean, talk to me about all those emotions.
I was very in tune to the World Cup, and like I said, just I'm a competitor, so I definitely want to be a part of that team. But all those guys, they earned their spot there, and they did their thing. So, like I said, from any great basketball player, you're always gonna learn from others. So I just learned and just stayed in the gym and just perfected my craft. So when I had my opportunity to be called in the Pan Am Games, it started off kind of rough as far as gameplay and just us getting to know each other in a short window. But we got the ultimate goal, and that was that gold medal. And that was life changing for me. Where I'm from, that you can't really see. I know a gold medalist, so something to make my city proud, my country proud, my family proud. So, putting USA on across your chest and representing something bigger than yourself, that was a dream come true.
Oh, wait, because I was just going through it. You guys finished up 4-3. So what? You guys started a little bit slow, or?
Yeah, we won our first game and lost the next. I want to say the next two, and
Yeah, who'd you lose to? Puerto Rico.
Yeah, we lost to Puerto Rico, and I think Brazil as well. Brazil.
Oh wow, okay.
So, like I said, it was real rough just learning because those guys actually played on the circuit and they played together and things of that nature. Us, we were and we had a couple G League guys who it was kind of new to them, but they were very skilled and they're right. You know what I mean? With Sheldon Jeter and John Octius, they were really skilled. And, it was kind of new for them as far as like the 3x3 culture and things of that nature. So, just getting in tune and like the skill level was there, you know what I mean? Just putting a little tweaks and little touches on certain things. We rallied the last day and we knew our talent spoke for itself. So, it was just putting the game plan in place and making sure we followed through. And, we really did that on that last pool stage.
It always is unique, and sometimes, I guess it's enjoyable to see a guy that's traditionally 5-on-5 and a bit of a superstar then coming to 3x3 and think, they're going to be able to take over, because it is, I think, such a vastly different game. And then you're right. Like once you fix up your nuances a little bit, you become really good. But it's always interesting to try and see guys transition over.
Yeah, it's a hard transition. A lot of people don't really understand, but they played the game. They've been to different, it was just like us when we first started out. Like we've been to like 1 or 2 places, and we got the feel of everything. But after those 1 or 2 places, you don't really go to many. But those guys are very skilled, and they're right, and they're still doing great things. Like they're playing in the G League and playing overseas, and John is playing in Germany and doing very well out there. Like the skill level was there. You know what I mean? It was just like I said, just as a team, we were just throwing together and just putting little certain things together in a short window. That was very important. And like I said, day by day, we put it all together. So it was pretty dope to see. And built a great bond with those guys. And of course, I know Kareem and love Kareem. It was good finally playing with him than against him. You know what I mean? Because he's very skilled and he knows the game very well. And his IQ level was immense, and just as well as his capabilities on that court. So, it was pretty dope. I loved every second of it.
Sure. Now, Olympics. I mean, congratulations to make the Olympic team qualifying team. I mean, incredible. And we're talking about that. So congratulations about that. I mean, and let's talk about the many layers regarding that. Talk to me about that selection camp. I mean, you're talking Princeton, Harlan. I'm sure there would have been a fair few other people. I mean, how was it? Those sessions. I mean, run through it. I mean,
it was
a chance to represent your country at the Olympics. I mean, I can imagine it was intense.
It was real physical. It was pretty dope. They put us through some great drills, and we just got after it and we competed. I mean, like I said, we all know each other from off the circuit and some with our daily lives. So it was pretty dope just to have the opportunity and for all of us just to have that USA across our chest. It put a extra emphasis on the things we needed to do and put each and every one of us in position to try to put on for our country. So we was definitely getting after it. It was amazing. USA Basketball put a dope training camp together. We actually had a chance to go check out some all-star activity events and things of that. So it was nothing but A1 quality things when we were out there. So it only made the play that more intense. So it was pretty cool.
And how did you find out about your selection? I mean, talk to me about that moment.
I was actually in the airport on my way back to New York, and I got the call. So You know, not much I could say. I was the happiest man alive at that point. You know what I mean? So it was pretty dope. You know, just getting back on the plane, heading back to New York. You not knowing, you know, your nerves is getting to you, and you just don't know. You know what I mean? Everybody played pretty well, and everybody did their thing. So, you know, it was just all about putting the team together and putting your work first. So, you know I left it all out on the court. So, just to receive that phone call, it was a blessing. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was from air to air. I usually try to sleep on the flights. I couldn't even sleep on the way back because I was so excited, you know, about the opportunity.
First call, you call your family, obviously, and
Mm-hmm.
just she's like, yeah.
Yeah,
Talk to me about that.
yeah, I had called my fiance and I had to, you know, see my son and, you know, just talk to him. And, you know, he don't really understand now, but you know, it's something we can put on the Jones name and something he can be proud of his father about. So, you know what I mean? That was number one for me. And, you know, that was pretty dope. And I called my dad, which has always been number supportive when it comes to basketball and, you know, and always pushed me to do great things. So, you know, they were pretty excited. So when they got excited, you know, it only increased my enthusiasm behind everything. So I don't think I can get more happier, but just to see their reactions and, you know, my friends and family, you know, it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Now, unfortunately, obviously, the Olympic qualifying tournament has been postponed until, hopefully the near future in India or wherever it may be. I mean, that range of emotions. I mean, have the correspondence of USA basketball, is it going to be the same squad, or I mean, like, are they? I mean, talk to me about that. I mean, obviously, in July it would have been a chance, or a high chance, you would have been in Tokyo, you know, on that court with one of the gold
Yeah,
medal favourites. I mean, how's that been?
it was pretty disappointing because, you know, we actually got together and working out and was working out together out in LA, and me, Canyon and Robbie and Kareem, and we was like getting after it. And, you know, we were so bummed when we got the news that, you know, that it was postponed. And because we knew how serious it was, but, you know, we were hoping, you know what I mean, as far as being a basketball player. And, you know, you just hope everything just falls in line. And like I said, this is unprecedented precedent times, and nobody ever expected it to be this long or this severe. And, you know, God bless all the casualties, all the people that passed during this time, and everybody that's going through rough times at this moment. So, you know, we didn't expect it to be this big. So just, you know, working out and just getting this news, and, you know, it was definitely a bummer. And, you know, but our safety was first, and USA Basketball made sure, and they told us like your safety is first, and more than anything. And so we'll reconvene when everything gets back to normal.
What else about? I mean, and last year, and I mean, America's a basketball powerhouse, like, you know, traditional 5-4. What I mean, you spoke about Harlem obviously going. Why have you seen, I guess, um, like the dominance of USA basketball has always been that talent. Have you seen it's because of number of tournaments, more focus, more exposure? I mean, what do you think it's been?
Yes, I would say, like I said, it's always been a powerhouse, but like I said, it's a different game. You know, just because you can play basketball don't mean you can play 3x3. You know what I mean? That's one of my big sayings that I go about. Every basketball player sees it and they think, oh yeah, I can do this. And, you know, it's not about necessarily about your skill level. It's a mentality that you must carry. You know what I mean? When you're playing this game, because no game is a pushover. Of course, you have to be in great shape, and like I said, your IQ have to be good. You know what I mean? It's not extra two people to help you out on defense or help you out on offense. So, you know, a lot of people don't take that more serious enough to understand that part right there. So for that, you know, that transition part for everybody is not the same. And of course, some people might get it, some people might not. You know what I mean? It's just like 5-on-5. You know what I mean? You might not get it. So that's the main thing. People, I think they lose track of that 3x3 focus. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it's a different animal when you're out there.
Absolutely, no doubt, mate. Unfortunately, we're going to run out of time. I could speak to you for a considerable while longer, but I just want to obviously thank you on behalf of 3x3 Hustle for your time, and obviously understand how to precious that time, especially taking away from your family. But I really appreciate time as well, and I want to wish you and good luck with USA Basketball. Carl, hopefully not against myself or our Australian team, but I want to wish you on behalf of us. Good luck in that regard. For all of our listeners, thank you, and viewers, thank you for tuning in for this week's episode of 3x3. Hustle podcast. Please tune into all of our social media channels and Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, 3x3Hustle. Well, thanks again, Dom. You've been absolutely unreal. It was great to get an insight into more so your life. But yeah, again, good luck from us.
I appreciate you, and be safe, and to everybody out there.